the number one.
Thank you so much. So thank you so much.
The camera back.
Yeah, I see.
You guys think it's hot in here?
Yes, it is. Take off my shirt. Jacket inside.
The whole state.
Oh. That's a stamp.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
The whole state of New Jersey knows.
Sorry, I had to move over here because you're plugging my computer in.
You want to throw your jacket on. Oh, jump share, you can always figure out where to throw it.
Sure. So you get
You want to run this? Oh, you want to run the show? Not really. When one of the special projects guys go and shoot for the piece. Turn it on so that it'll show whoever's talking. And that's pretty much the gist of it.
yeah.
So you know Sam from school, right, Justin? How do you know Sam? Or Jim?
Jim. He was at our station.
Oh, that's right.
I looked up, he's there. Looked down, looked back up, he's gone.
Yeah, I got it. Oh. True. I'll be here.
He was there for person.
Yeah.
You talked to Genevieve.
Other days. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Take that as it is. Well, it's not behind the wheel. I'm working with it. Scared the shit out of me. Like he had narcotics. Not done?
Quick microphone.
Nope, it's right here. I was gonna let you do it because I know you're.
I take it for you, I would. You go back far enough.
Thank you. I don't know where we're putting them.
I'm on the little desk right there.
A little bit.
Looks like it was fun. I guess it's fun time. Unit over there.
Okay.
Oh, no, we're good. We're just checking.
She's just peeking out the door.
I'm peeking out to see who's here.
Peeking out the door.
We have glares on our security cameras, so I can't see what's going on.
It's off of his head. That's a bulge.
I know.
Let's see.
I'm not taking it any other way.
Excuse me, sir. That work for you?
Yeah. It's cool. You talking to me, I can hear you.
Some of the church mouse, my friend. Brother.
I know, I thought the same
Very much so. I'm gonna run down and get the next witness now, so they're not so far away.
Yeah, I don't know half-timers at all.
Huh?
I don't want no half-timers sitting there.
Yeah. He's here now. No.
So you know the guy from Michigan allegedly, what they're getting investigated for stealing signs? Suspended Michigan statute percent against the double A signs for purchase tickets in his own name for more than 30 games over the past 3 years in 11 different Big Ten schools. That's probably not good.
Chance to show us something. Not sure what.
Sources confirmed to ESPN that Stallions purchased tickets on both sides of the stadium, approximately each bench for Ohio State game and Penn State on Saturday. So he bought tickets on both sides, opposite of both benches.
So he spent half and half on.
What's that? Well, Michigan's getting investigated. Apparently you can watch film, but you can't in-person scout. Apparently they're saying that this guy who was some part of the athletic program was doing that.
Just 2 seconds. All rise, visiting Judge O'Farrell presiding.
Thank you again, folks. Have a seat. We'll get back on the record and continue on. All right. It looks like all of the necessary folks are here. And we are at the next witness for the state of Ohio, Ms. Robbins.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will say for the record, I do have my deputy here as the arresting officer. He is going to sit in on the trial now that he has arrived.
Okay, but
Who would be calling Michael Young?
all right.
He's right here.
He's outside.
Yeah,
If you'll have him come in, thank you. Welcome, Deputy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we that chair right there.
Yes, Mr. Young, good afternoon. Come in this way. Just stop here and then we'll have you sit in the chair in a moment. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth? If so, please answer, I do. Thank you, sir. You keep your voice up so we can all hear you.
I'll do my best.
Thank you. Ms. Roberts.
Thank you, Your Honor. Could you please state your name, spelling your last name for the record?
Michael Young, Y-O-U-N-G.
And,
Hey, Judge.
Yes.
The photography.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Thank you, John. Gentlemen, just if you'd not have your cameras on for a moment, I'm going to be talking to the witness about his position on being videotaped or photographed. Thank you, Mr. Brevin. Yeah, the law in Ohio, Mr. Young, gives the witnesses in a case like this the right to not be photographed or not videotaped by media or in the courtroom. What is your preference in that regard?
I prefer not to.
All right, thank you, Mr. Young. So then, turn the cameras off then, gentlemen. Yep. Please. Well, at least toward the witness chair. You can have them on it for other areas in the courtroom. All right, thank you. I'm sorry for the interruption. Go ahead, Ms.
thank you, Your Honor. Okay, you stated that you are Michael Young.
Correct.
And Michael, I'm Attorney Jen Roberts with the state of Ohio, and I just have a few questions for you regarding an incident that occurred at your brother's residence, as well as mostly your residence, on July 7th of 2023. Do you recall an incident that occurred?
Yes.
So sort of walk us through, early in the morning of 7/7, does someone come to your house?
Yes.
Who's that?
Tina, Abby, and Jody.
Come to your residence?
Correct.
Why?
They came to my residence and stated that Bob had hit Tina.
Okay. Did they appear to be distraught?
Very much so.
Did they appear to be in fear?
Very much so.
And so what did you do?
I let him in and we sat and talked from 2 in the morning till 4:30. And we went to bed for a few hours.
Okay. And so then you wake up the next day, it's still July 7th of 2023.
Correct.
Does something happen in the morning?
So yeah, but Bobby came over later. He didn't come over initially. Bobby came over later. So, and we had talked throughout the evening about just different scenarios. Bobby had went home that morning, talked to his dad to see if there was a way to mediate this. That's when Bob found out that his family was at my house. And then he had called my wife. First, I answered the phone. We had asked to talk to Tina. And I just repeatedly stated that I'm not going to hand her the phone. And I said that, I felt like, for 2 or 3 minutes.
And was that Tina's wishes not to speak to him?
I never had. At first, I didn't ask her. Partially through the conversation, I muted it, and I asked her, and she said no.
Okay, so she did not want to speak.
And initially, that was not her. It was my decision at first.
Okay, but ultimately you conferred with her and she did not want to speak.
Correct.
Okay. So how many times did he call?
Twice?
Okay.
2 times?
Okay.
I think.
And anything with respect to the calls that caused you concern?
No.
At some point, do you send your children out of your house?
I do.
Why?
He said he was coming up
Okay, so you have your children go where?
to the barn.
In the back of your property or?
Correct.
Okay. Is that a secure facility?
I knew it was gonna be secure in the house.
Okay.
So my son went back to the barn. I said, get your brothers and sisters, go back to the barn. So he did. Took everybody, went back to the barn. He actually locked everybody in the barn.
Okay, and when you say everybody, you mean you have 3 children?
I have 4 children.
You have 4 children also, so all 4 of your children are back in the barn?
Yes.
And then, some of Bob and Tina's children?
They went afterwards.
Okay, they went later.
That was not, yeah. I just told Josh to go to the barn. He went to the barn and locked everybody in. My wife stayed in the house.
So
I was
you,
concerned about the Mike kids.
You were-
I was concerned about my family, my kids.
okay, you didn't want them to
I
witness
didn't want them to
anything?
see anything that they did not need to see.
Okay. And what made you think they might?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
I'm going to overrule. You can answer why you were concerned.
Repeat the question one more time.
So what would have made you send your kids away from your house?
I had no idea what my brother's intentions were.
Okay, and that caused you concern?
Correct.
Alright. So at some point, does your brother show up?
Yes.
And how does he arrive?
In his truck.
And, where were you when he arrived at your house?
I was in my living room when I heard him pull in. I went to the front door.
Okay, you heard him pull in. Do you hear everyone pull in?
It's gravel driveway. Not, I won't say everyone, but you do hear people pull in.
Okay, was there anything in particular with the manner in which he pulled in?
He was coming in hot.
Okay, what's
Coming
that?
fast.
Fast. Okay. And then what do you do?
My initial thought was I tried to lock, so my door handle's dumb. You can like lock yourself out of the house, so I had to check. I was checking to make sure the inside of my handle was locked, and I went out and was pulling one door closed while I was opening my screen door. And I think by that point he had pulled up to like the apex of my turnaround, and I was trying to get my front door closed while still going out my front door. My goal was to meet him outside my house on the porch.
Okay, it was your goal to meet him on your porch with the door locked behind you.
Correct.
If that's what I'm understanding you saying.
That is correct.
Okay. Did you make it that far?
I did.
And was the door locked behind you?
I don't recall.
You're not sure? Okay. You have Ring cameras,
Correct.
and did your Ring camera catch this incident?
The majority of it. I think there was a time lapse in the middle that I missed. I said it was over from Deputy Burman.
Not go in my house. I did not give you permission to go in. Your arm is cut. Yeah, you are not coming in my house. You're
Okay, so is that a fair and accurate representation of your initial interaction with your brother?
That was it.
Okay. So when he arrives and gets out of the car, okay, so here we are, we see the video, he's arrived and he's getting out of the car. At any point in time after he gets out of the car, as he's approaching your door, does he stop?
We never spoke. We never stopped. No,
And he never spoke to you?
we never spoke.
And what, so what do you believe his intentions are at this point?
Objection.
I'm going to overrule. I'm going to give you an opportunity to cross-examine on this point at length, but I think the question can be answered.
I did not know what his intentions were.
Okay. So we see him here still approaching your door. You're coming out. Does, at any point in time, does he stop?
No, he sped up on those last 3 steps.
Sped up, and then what happens next?
He lowered his shoulder and I lowered mine.
Okay, and it's your testimony he lowered his shoulder first,
Absolutely.
and then you lowered yours.
Correct.
And
Not go in my house. I did not give you permission to go in. Your arm is cut. Yeah, you are not coming in my house. Here's you.
okay, and we see there's a little tussle. And then Mr. Young goes into the glass, your storm door. Is that your storm door?
Yes.
I want you to walk the court through exactly, in addition to what we see on the video, because we see you blocking a decent amount of that video, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, from the time he gets out of the car, walk us through that entire incident, as best you can recollect it.
When he got out of his car, he walked up. I noticed when he got like to the 3rd step, he had lowered his shoulder, kind of took off, and at that point, I was just defensive. I lowered my shoulder, my door was open, and I knocked him off the porch.
You did not want him to come in your house.
He was not coming in my house.
And you told him on the phone he did not have permission to come into your house.
I can't answer that. I don't know.
You're not sure? Okay. But at no point there does he try to have a conversation with you on the outside of the house.
No.
Why do you not want him in the house?
His family's hiding.
They
They came to my house. They came to my house. They were hiding. They came there for safety.
okay. And so it was your intentions to provide them that safety.
That's what I was providing. Yes.
Did you also receive cuts on your arms and scrapes? Or?
Sir, I didn't know it was my blood.
Okay, but it was ultimately.
It was.
Okay. One second. After this initial incident occurred, did your brother leave
He did.
immediately, or was there some?
It was. I don't know. He didn't leave. There was some conversation about it, a call. But it was all outside.
Was he still trying to get in the house?
I don't know.
Okay. Your Honor, for the record, we'll mark that as a state speed.
Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
B as in boy?
Yeah, B as in. Can you identify the individual in the courtroom who we saw in the video?
Judge Wood stipulates
The agreement on the record in front of the defendant is that the person in the video, in addition to Michael Young, was Robert Young, the defendant.
correct, Your Honor.
Yes.
Hey, Mr. Young, your address is 1432 Coons Road,
Correct.
and is that in the city of Greene,
Correct.
the state of Ohio, Summit County? And you stated that Mr. Robert Young is your brother,
Correct.
your biological brother?
Correct.
The state has no further witnesses.
Thank you, Ms. Rowland. Mr. Callahan will be doing the cross-examination. Mr. Young, Mr. Callahan, that's the question.
Thank you. Mr. Allen, I'm Callahan. I'll ask you a few questions. First and foremost, did you watch this video before coming in here today?
I have not watched it since I sent it to Deputy Burman.
Since when?
I sent it to Deputy Burman.
When was that?
Deputy Burman can answer that question. The day of, same day, I think.
I mean, I'm asking you the question. If you know when you sent it, tell me when you sent it.
Would have been the day of, possibly the day after.
Okay. And so you didn't watch that video before you made your statement either, did you?
No.
Okay.
I made a statement with Deputy
Right.
Burman.
And you came in here and began your direct testimony without having watched that video for a number of months.
Correct.
Did you watch it just now?
Correct.
And is it still your testimony that he came in hot,
Yes.
driving in the driveway?
Correct.
That's your opinion of driving in hot?
He slid gravel into my yard, so he came in fast.
Did you see, can we put that on there? I want to see where that,
We'll watch it again.
yeah, perhaps you can point out where that happened.
That's the corner short, and the front yard a little bit. Yes. He stopped rather quickly here.
Okay, now he's getting out. Coming upstairs, correct?
Yes.
And you never let him get to the top
Not
stairs.
going my house. I did not give you permission to go in. Your arm is cut.
I don't know how far he got. He didn't get in
You're
my
not
house.
coming in my house.
He didn't get in your house, that's correct. And he's coming up the stairs, and there is no doubt you are the one that initiated contact with your brother.
I did not, sir. I defended myself.
You initiated contact. You can call it defending yourself all you want. You're the one that initiated contact with your brother, correct?
No.
Okay, so did he strike you first? He didn't strike you.
Did I
at all,
strike him
did-
first?
You pushed him, didn't you?
No, I defended myself.
I'm sorry. Did you push your brother?
I defended myself. I prevented him from going into my house.
So he just fell on his own into that glass door?
It's unfortunate that glass door was there.
You pushed him into the glass door, didn't you?
No, sir. My hand was on it when he came up. He
Yes,
fell through it.
Mr. Young, he lost his balance and fell through it. That's what you want this court to believe?
We can watch it again if you'd like.
You can put it on again.
Sure, let's play with that in time, as often as necessary.
Not going my house. I did not give you permission to go in. Your arm is cut. Yeah, you're not coming in my house. Here's you.
So it is your testimony today that you did not just shove him into that door.
I had no intention of pushing him into that door.
Well, I believe you had no intentions, but you did that, didn't you?
I defended him from coming in my house.
You're not answering the question.
I am answering the question.
No, you aren't. You pushed him into that door.
I did not. He pushed me into my door. The man door behind me.
Well,
That prevented me from
that
going
doesn't
into
show
my
at
house.
all in that video, does it?
What stops me?
Nothing stops you. You
Oh.
shoved him. Are you, do we have to watch it again? You shove him into that door.
I did not.
Your Honor, I'm going to object and say this has been asked and answered at least 5 times.
This is the first time he answered it by saying I did not.
Yeah.
If that's his answer,
I
I'll
defended my
move on.
house. I did not. I was defending my house.
So he just fell off the back into that door.
We were touching, and he went off on my porch, yes.
So, and you initiated the contact, didn't
No.
you?
I did not. He
You-
initiated when he
you
lowered his
can
shoulder
s-
coming up the stairs.
And tell me, what shoulder was it that he lowered?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Okay. You can't see it on there, can you?
I don't know. You can watch it again.
Be happy to put it on again then, if you want to watch it again.
in my house. Do not go in my house. I do not give you permission to go in. Your arm is cut.
Are you not watching it?
Yeah, you are not coming in my
So which
house.
shoulder did you drop?
I couldn't see it.
You couldn't see it. And it's still your testimony you did not shove him into that door?
I was defending my house and he went through that door.
Yeah, Judge, I got no further questions.
Ms. Roberts, any further questions?
I'm sorry.
Yes, could you hang on 1 second?
Yes. Okay. One more. No further questions, Mr. County?
No further questions.
Okay. Further direct examination, Ms. Roberts.
No,
Ms. Roberts, do we have the capability, either your skill or someone else, to stop that video periodically at moments? If I said stop, you'd be able to do that?
yeah, sure.
Could we do that? Before we testify again, Mr. Young, I want to see this.
I actually was going to see if
Video.
we could even slow it down.
Yeah, once the truck gets up to the driveway, or to the walk-in.
Oh, here we go. You just want to grab him.
Just that when he's out, gets out of the truck. Okay, if you would stop now, Ms. Roberts. Mr. Young, I have just several questions of you. Looking at that video, you see your brother getting out of the truck. At that point, what was your expectation of what was going to happen?
I assumed a conversation outside of my house.
If you were going to talk to your brother. And let me ask this question before we go to further questions here. I wrote down a note, tell me if I'm correct, that your brother called twice to your home before he came over.
Yes,
Yeah, and you talked to him both times.
correct, from my wife's cell phone.
Yeah, on your wife's cell phone. Okay. And I wrote down that you didn't have any concerns about that conversation.
It was not much of a conversation. The conversation was, I speak to my wife, and I repeatedly, I will not handle it. I will not handle it. Over and over and over.
But nothing he said in that conversation was of concern to you in terms of your bodily safety or him doing some type of harm to you or others.
Correct.
At that point, that wasn't on your landscape.
No, sir.
Okay. So now we're at the point where he's out of the car. At this moment in time where it's frozen, are you still not concerned?
No concern.
But did
I
you-
am aware enough that I'm trying to lock my front door.
I
I'm just
understand.
out of the house, but no concern.
No concerns, okay. Unless Ms. Roberts have, when I say stop, if you'd be kind enough to stop. Stop. At that point in time, do you see anything either in your brother's face or in his bodily actions that cause you concern?
Just not stopping to talk.
Okay.
He's not stopping.
He's not stopping at that point. That was of concern to you.
Correct.
Okay. And if you go again, please, Ms. Roberts. Stop. Now, you can see over your left shoulder, your brother's right arm coming up. You saw that come up.
Correct.
And I can see your left arm is in front of you. I can't see it.
Correct.
But I'm assuming you were taking some type of a defensive
Correct.
posture?
I would agree with that.
Okay. So at that moment in time, you're telling the court that you believe your brother was the aggressor?
Absolutely. He did not stop for a conversation. I don't know where his feet are in that video, but my elbow is still in my doorway of my
I see
my
that.
home. We are close.
And essentially what you're telling me, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, your concern was your brother wasn't stopping to talk to you, and you assumed he was going to come
There's
forcefully into your home?
Agreed.
Is that what your concern was?
Agreed. He's not stopping to talk. He is going in.
And was it your decision then, when you, at that moment in time, believed he was not going to stop and he was going to apparently force his way into your home, that you took defensive action in blocking him from doing that?
I will protect my family since the day I was married.
Absolutely.
So that decision was made years ago.
And I want to make sure I understand, Mr. Young, what you were doing there, and that was to protect your family by preventing your brother from coming past you into the house.
Correct.
Follow-up questions to that, Ms. Roberts?
I'm just gonna play the rest of this video.
It's fine.
Not going my house.
Okay, so, Michael, after that initial contact, there's some tussling between the two of you, correct? Like, there's like arms sort of like pushing,
After this?
no, like right after, from where we had paused it till now. Is there some like grappling with arms going on?
Yes.
Okay. And at any point in time, does your brother stop trying to come in your house?
I mean, at that point.
Yeah,
Once he was off the porch.
he stopped trying to come in your house.
Correct.
But until he was off the porch, he was not stopping about coming in your house.
Yes.
Okay. Nothing further.
Mike?
Your Honor, just based upon your question.
Yes.
Just look at those two bottom ones.
And before you ask any further questions, I have another one or two, so maybe I can ask those and then you can
Okay. That's good.
consider his answers as you ask further questions. Mr. Young, you are younger than your brother.
1 year.
1 year. Okay. In the past, in your relationship with your brother, have you and he ever had physical fights with each other as adult men, not as young boys or teenagers?
Occasional teenager sucker punch.
Yeah, that type of thing. No, I'm not talking about
No.
that. No, so this type of event, this type of contact with your brother had never occurred before in any other situation or scenario.
Yes.
So I didn't see, and you can tell me if I'm mistaken, I didn't see your brother attempt to strike you with a fist. I saw you and he, arms locked, in a struggle, and then him falling back into
Yeah.
the window.
I don't think he had intended to punch me or hit me.
No.
He was trying to go through me to get into the house.
Okay, all right. And you were going to stop him, and you did. Right. Okay. Mike?
Mr. Young, did you get that door locked behind you?
I can't answer the question, I don't know.
You meant to, didn't you?
I intended to.
And you got it shut, right?
Yes.
So there really wasn't much need to protect your family from anything at that point in time. You were outside, the door was shut, presumably locked, and just you and your brother, correct?
Correct.
That place where the judge stopped, where you can see your left arm, you can see the back of your left arm, you know where your white spot? The front of your left arm was pushing your brother in the chest, wasn't it?
With his right arm on mine, yes.
Your left arm was pushing your brother in the chest.
I
That's
don't
what
believe the
caused,
chest, I believe our arms had contact, but there was, I don't believe I think you're insinuating that I just pushed him from his chest off his porch. No.
well, that's what happened, isn't it?
No.
Oh, it isn't.
He grabbed me, I grabbed him, and he went off the porch.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Roberts, did you wish to follow up with any questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So let's just say, Michael, that as Robert was coming at you on that porch, you had done nothing. What would have happened if you'd have just stood there,
I got ran over.
into your door?
Correct.
Nothing further.
Anything else? Mike says no. John?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Nothing else. Mr. Young, thank you for your testimony. It's concluded. If you wish to stay in this room, you can, but you're free to leave as well. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
It'll be Liz next to you, stick. Just take me 1 minute, I'm gonna call Liz. Young.
Okay.
Sure.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Oh, I was just telling her about the being recorded, and she does not wish to be recorded, but that's your right.
Well, thanks for waiting on us and coming. You'll sit in a moment. Before you do, I'll administer an oath or an affirmation. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth? If so, please answer I do. Please have a seat. The question is, under Ohio law, witnesses in cases like this have the right to not be photographed, not be videotaped by the media. Is that your wish? And gentlemen, thank you for not photographing or videotaping the witness. Ms. Roberts.
Thank you, Your Honor. Could you please state your name, spelling your last name for the record?
Liz Young, Y-O-U-N-G.
And Liz, I'm going to ask you just to speak up as best you can so that we can hear you and that those audio devices can record your testimony to keep a record. I am going to direct your attention to July 7th of 2023 to an incident that had occurred at your house. Do you recall that day? Early morning hours, 2-ish, did something happen?
Yeah, I mean, we were sleeping and my dog started barking and I realized really quickly that my Ring camera had gone off. There was house, and I looked at my phone and had several missed calls from Abby, and woke Mike up pretty quick. I said, Abby's here, so I didn't know what was happening, and we greeted her at the front door, and she said, we need help. My mom's in the car, she's afraid to get out.
Okay. And what did they need help? Did you find out what they needed help for?
I believe that Mike actually went out and got her out of the car because we didn't know what was going on, and she was holding her side of her head and said, oh my God, I don't know what happened, he hit me. And Abby and Joey were with her.
Okay. And, so what happens next? You guys all go in the house?
Yeah, we bring him in the house, we shut the door, we sit down, we stood there for a minute and just held her, and she's crying, and I didn't say much. I just said, you know, it's okay, you're gonna be okay, and I looked at Abby, I didn't know what happened. And then we went and sat down on the couch, and she just was hysterically crying still. And she said that after the fundraiser, they were at the pool, and he threw my phone in the pool, and he hit me, I don't know what. She just kept repeating the same thing over and over.
Did she appear to be in shock?
Yeah, she was.
Judge, I'm just gonna object if she can make that call or not.
Yeah, I think that's a medical term that is beyond the ken of the witness. So I'm going to sustain the objection. You don't have to answer this on that question. You indicated you believe she was hysterical.
She was hysterically
Right.
crying,
I
kept
heard you say
holding her
that.
face,
Correct.
kept holding her side like this,
Right.
and crying.
Okay. And which side was she holding? Her left side? Did you have an opportunity to talk to Abby about what happened?
We were all sitting on my couch together. I was sitting next to Tina, and she just kept repeating the same thing, that said that Joey came and woke her up, and she went out. She went to Katie's room. She saw what happened. She woke Bobby up. She got in her car, and then she came to my house.
And at some point, you all go to sleep for a little bit.
It was a lot.
The next morning, everyone's still at your house.
Mm-hmm.
Does something happen the next day at your house?
Yes, so at that point Bobby had come over. Tina and Abby and Joey slept in my daughter's room, and Bobby was downstairs, and they both, Tina was up, they weren't really sleeping. They both had multiple missed calls from their dad.
When you say them both, Abby and Bobby?
Yeah.
Okay.
And our neighbor had been over just to like help us work through what was going on, because there was a lot processing. So that morning we were just kind of there. Bobby had went home and talked to his dad, and we were all just sitting there. My phone rang, and it was Bob, and I handed my husband the phone. He answered and talked to him, and the phone call, he wanted to talk to her, and she didn't want to talk to him. They hung up the phone, and we were going out the back door. When we knew he was coming over, the kids went down our yard to the barn. We were out the back door, and it was fast. He came over, and I heard him flying through my front driveway. We have rocks, so it's louder, and we heard a loud noise at the front door, and Tina went running down, and I came in and saw him and my husband at the front door, and I called 911 at that point, because I didn't know what had happened. I just knew there was a lot of commotion.
Okay, so you heard of a loud noise or something. What did it sound like?
It was like a bang. It sounded like a bang. I just heard a huge, loud bang.
Okay, so then Tina goes running and you go inside to see what's happening.
I went inside because I didn't know where they were at that point, and I saw them at the front door, and I picked up my phone to call 911, and my husband asked me to call 911, and I had seen Bob like come to the front of my window. outside and they were back and forth a little bit and he got in the car and left.
And so you called the police that day and that's when the police arrived?
Yes.
And when the police arrived, that's when everything came out about what had happened the night before,
Yeah.
as well as the next day?
Yes.
And you were present in the room when Tina was meeting with the police officers?
Yes.
Based on what you had known from the night before and that morning, do you believe that she was as forthcoming with the officers as she could have been?
Objection.
Case is adjourned.
She wasn't present the night before, so she doesn't know what happened at the pool house. So I don't know how she can say whether or not she was being forthcoming.
It's my understanding that she talked with Tina Young at length about what happened at the pool house. She got that information from Tina Young, so I'm going to overrule the objection and let her answer in that regard. Would you ask the question again so the witness is clear about what you're asking?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Do you believe that Tina was as forthcoming with the officers as she could have been about what happened the night before?
Yeah.
Was she holding anything back?
No.
No further questions.
Thank you, Ms. Roberts. Mr. Grevin.
Ms. Young, my name is John Grevin. Good afternoon. I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm sure you figured that out. You knew that was coming. I'm going to ask you again to keep your voice up. And if at any point in time you don't understand my question, I want you to let me know, okay? It's important that we are always on the same page. Fair enough? You
Okay.
gotta say yes or no. You can't nod your
Yes.
head. Okay. So you weren't present at the pool house or at Bob and Tina's house, so you really have no independent personal knowledge of what happened over there, correct?
I was not there.
Okay. So at some point in time, I think we figured out about 2 o'clock in the morning or so, I'm not gonna hold you to the time, but around 2 o'clock in the morning is when they come to your house, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you testified that you hear the dogs, you hear the ring camera, however that works, and you know somebody's out there and you go downstairs, right?
Yes.
Okay. And their family, 2 o'clock in the morning, you let them in, right?
Yeah.
Not really knowing why at that point in time, correct?
No.
I mean, you had said that there were some phone calls from Abby, but you had not picked up the phone, right?
No.
So you just know they're there, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, this is weird, I'm gonna let them in the house, fair?
Of course.
All right, absolutely. Do they, when you talk to Tina, does she describe a chaotic night at her house, yelling?
Right away, she just said that he hit her and he threw her phone in the pool.
Okay. At any point in time, does she talk about the entire night as being very chaotic, full of yelling and screaming and FUs and things like that, or no?
Not the whole night.
Okay, does she ever say that to you?
She said there was a lot of fighting at the end.
Okay. So she does say it, and does she tell you, excuse me, that there was a lot of verbal arguments and yelling? Did she tell you that?
Yes.
Okay. So, your testimony is that she says that she was hit and her phone was thrown in the pool, correct?
Correct.
Did you call EMS?
No, they asked us not to right away.
Well, they probably asked you not to call the police, correct?
Correct.
I mean, Tina testified that she totally lost her hearing in that year.
I had given her ibuprofen because she was in pain. And the
Okay.
next morning, she still could not hear. She kept holding her side of her face.
So she couldn't hear. And you don't think that's important enough to maybe get her some medical attention? I'm not talking about the cops. I'm talking about medical attention.
Absolutely, I told her to go to the doctor.
Okay. But you don't do anything to get her immediate medical attention that night, correct?
Correct.
All right. So, you talked about the neighbor. You said we had the neighbor over. Explain to me why the neighbor comes over. What's he have to do with this thing?
He's a retired sheriff. He's our neighbor. We've known him since we moved into our house.
Okay,
They came over talking about everything that happened, and they didn't want to call the cops right away. They wanted to try and work through some things. And so we had called my neighbor to sit with us and help us because we didn't know what we were dealing with. We didn't know what was happening as things were unfolding.
so you,
More of a guidance to help work out the situation.
okay. Then there are phone calls from Robert where he says, at some point he says he's gonna come over, right?
He wanted to talk to Tina.
Well, he wanted to talk to Tina. At some point in time, you tell your kids to go get in the barn, right?
We told them to go outside because they were on the phone. They didn't need to be part of a conversation.
Well,
My children were there.
okay. So did you tell your children to go out back because you were concerned with their physical safety, or because you didn't want them to just hear the family business?
Both. We didn't want them to hear the family business, and then when we knew that he was coming over, we said, you guys need to go to the barn.
Well, has Robert ever assaulted your kids before?
No.
Has he ever shot up a place or anything like that? Okay. So you had real no reason to believe that there was going to be any kind of physical violence, did you?
Except from the night before. No, I don't.
Okay. So your testimony was he comes flying through the driveway. We do have a videotape of it, but your recollection, he flew through that driveway pretty fast?
I wasn't out front. I was behind my house, and I heard the rocks going.
Okay. Well, it's a gravel driveway, right?
Sure.
All right. And then when the incident at the front door happens, you're not there. Where are you?
It's not far from the front door. I'm at my back door with Tina.
Okay. But can you see what happens out front?
No, I heard it.
Right. Well, I understand that. What I'm asking is, can you see it?
No.
And as part of the reason, well, let me ask you this question. From where you were by the back door, can you see your front door?
No.
Okay. So if the front door was shut or open, you wouldn't know that, correct?
Correct.
All right. You hear, I think you said a boom or a bang or something like that. So at this point in time, you decide you're going to call 911, or your husband says call 911, but you call 911, you make the 911 call, correct? Okay. And then you had talked about Bob coming to the window. I mean, you have kind of as you're facing your house, to the right side of your door, you have kind of a big picture window, right?
Yes.
And just so we're clear, Bob walks over to that window and he yells in, I want to talk to my wife, right? If you remember.
I don't remember what
He
he
doesn't-
said.
He doesn't try to break through that window or come through that glass or anything. He just comes to the window and says something, if you remember.
He yelled. I don't know what he yelled.
All right.
I don't remember what he said.
All right. And then he just turns and he gets back in his truck and he leaves, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When 2 o'clock in the morning when people arrive at your house, could you smell any alcohol on Tina's breath?
I don't remember.
Okay.
No.
Did she appear to be under the influence of alcohol even a little bit at that time?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Roberts, redirect if any.
No, you're right. Thank you.
Ms. Young, thank you for your patience in waiting. You can stay in the room now if you wish, or go, your choice. Thank you, ma'am. Next witness, Ms. Roberts.
You're at this time in the state we call Deputy Burman.
Deputy, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth? If so, please answer I do.
I do.
Thank you, sir. Have a seat. Mike, John, do you stipulate the law enforcement credentials? In other words, his training?
He's a police
All
officer,
of
sure.
Sure, so the record will reflect that the deputy is a trained and certified law enforcement officer in the state of Ohio, and was on the date in question. Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you, Your Honor. Could you please state your name, spelling your last name for the record?
David Burman, B-E-R-T-M-A-N,
And where are you currently employed?
Summit County Sheriff's Office.
And how long have you been still employed there?
Approximately a little bit over 2.5 years.
And were you a sheriff's deputy prior to your employment with Summit County?
I was a police officer
You were a police officer where?
in Stark County.
Okay. Were you employed with the Summit County Sheriff's Office on July 7th of 2023?
Yes,
And do you recall responding to a call for service on Coons Road?
I did.
Okay. So walk me through, you get a call for service, what's that call?
The initial call came out as a domestic dispute that occurred at 1432 Coons Road. Multiple units were dispatched. I was either second or third to arrive on scene.
But you interviewed everyone on scene?
Yeah,
You took their statements?
yes.
Okay. So you arrive on scene, and what do you observe at the front door?
At the front door, I observed that the storm door to the residence was shattered. There was also blood droplets on the concrete walk-up and concrete stairs leading to the front door.
Okay. So, do you recall who you speak to first?
I believe it's Michael Young.
Okay. And you have an opportunity to speak with him
Yeah.
about what?
What happened, the incident as far as at the, of Robert Young coming over, a little bit about what the incident was prior, approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, over at Robert Young's house.
And what was that incident?
That there was a domestic violence event at his house at 2037 Greensburg Road in City of Green.
In Summit County, State of Ohio. And who was the alleged victim in that domestic violence?
Robert Young's wife, Tina Young.
Okay. Let's sort of start in reverse order, just because the incident in the morning is what led you to the house, okay? So you arrived and you talked to Michael Young. Does he indicate that there's a video of the incident?
Yes, he does.
And did you have an opportunity to view that video?
I did view the video, I believe, after I took all the statements.
Okay. And after you took the statements and viewed the video, was the video consistent with the statements that you took?
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and play state speed.
Not go in my house. I did not give you permission to go in. Your arm is cut. Yeah, you're not coming in my house. You're shooting.
Okay, so at some time, Michael provides that video to you.
Yes.
Based upon your talking to Michael and observing that video, what decision is made with respect to charges for this incident?
Initially, it was to charge Robert Young with domestic violence against his brother.
Okay, and ultimately that went to the grand jury
Did.
and got sent back here as an assault.
Correct.
Okay. But he was initially charged with domestic violence.
Yes.
Why did you charge Robert Young with that incident?
With that, would you clarify?
The assault, the incident happened at Coons Road.
Thank you.
Thank you.
From Michael's story, plus eventually watching the video, it appears that Robert Young is the aggressor and that Michael Young was acting defensively.
Okay. What in that video specifically makes Robert Young appear to you to be the aggressor?
The way he walks up the concrete path and the stairs, he seemingly accelerates. He doesn't say anything to his brother. He just seems to want to, it appears that on the video he wants to go through him and into to the residence.
Okay. Is there anything else specifically that you saw with respect to Robert's behavior that led you to believe he's the primary aggressor?
Also, when I watch video, I see that Robert's right arm does come up, and it appears that Michael's left arm comes up in a defensive way. Also, there's pushing and shoving. Robert continues to push Michael into presumably the front door of the residence. There's a tussle. Doesn't appear that any blows were thrown, but there was a tussle, and eventually Robert Young went off the front porch through the glass door.
Okay. And so it's your testimony based upon your investigation that Robert Young was causing or attempting to cause physical harm to Michael?
Affirmative. Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to ask you, you can see that video right there. I'm going to play this. I want you to tell me when you see what you just testified to, and I can pause it. Okay?
Click the beginning. You mind?
So he's obviously coming out of the car, seems slightly accelerated, his arm goes up right about there, and they start kind of going at each other.
All right, so it's your testimony that his arm comes up before Michael,
I believe so.
and that Michael responds in a defensive manner.
Yes.
Okay. So, no, I just have 1 second.
Yes.
Greensburg.
You know which way they went? I'm assuming you went home. Where do you live at? You went to the right?
2013 Greensburg. 2007.
Okay. Speak with the RP. Let's see, he said he's on Coons. Was it the 2007 Greensburg?
Yeah.
That's not him right there, is it?
No, that's Greensburg Police Department.
Okay. Well, I figured, but. The RP indicated he lives at 2007 Greensburg. Alright, so what happened?
Today? Right now?
Whatever.
Alright. So, I guess the story would make more sense if I started with last name.
Oh, geez, I guess you didn't say last.
This is actually not you, is it?
No,
I
this
just realized it's
Deputy
someone else.
Ruggles.
Okay. Hold on, let me go get you yours. I'm sorry. I was like, that's not your voice.
It's the same stuff.
You don't really care if I leave it on?
I mean, you're just gonna show his body cam with the exact same footage.
Alright.
And I wasn't, he took that, go into that.
He made it, or was it?
His long, right now?
Whatever.
Alright. So, I guess the story would make more sense if I started with last name.
Oh, geez, I guess you didn't say last. Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Is that from him?
So, yeah, long story short, his wife is here.
Okay.
She left, didn't feel safe last night.
Okay.
Came here, hung out, and then he found out where they were at this morning.
So when she came over here yesterday, was it just an argument, or was it?
There was an altercation.
We did it. Okay. So you two were married?
This is my wife.
Okay, that's just trying to think of.
Yeah, what's your name? I'm Mike.
Jason.
Jason?
Yes.
It's his brother and his wife.
Your brother?
My brother.
Okay.
So he called this morning, I talked to his wife, I'm like, no,
just back from the barn. My wife's here. Actually, two of his kids are in my barn. Okay. And his wife is here. I greeted him at the front door, and then he tried to run past me at the door, and I just pushed him back and said, "You're not coming in my house." Okay. And he went through the door, ripped his arm pretty good.
That's all. This is all his.
Oh, this is all his. Okay.
He's got scratches on his arm.
Okay.
So you pushed him back through the.
The door was, the door, I was coming out the door, and he got to hear, he took off. I caught it on my ring camera too. Okay. I'm glad to get
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
And,
They're gonna try. We'll try to find them real quick and then go from there. We're gonna try. They're gonna. Another partner's headed towards his house, so hopefully they'll. Yeah, I'll stay until we figure out what's going on. So he just tried to run and stuff over the house.
correct, and I wasn't not letting him in the house.
So you two never really you weren't fighting. You kind of just pushed him out.
Absolutely not. He was coming to the door, and I wasn't letting him in the door. I didn't even speak a word.
Okay.
I did not speak a word until I
You guys
said
get along normally, or is it?
it's been some on and off spells.
Okay. And where's his wife at?
I don't know, it's on the patio.
Okay. That's not there then? Is that right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Good morning. Thank you. Come on. It's not as bad as those. He was just those stars to get out.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're not sorry. I'm not sorry.
Hello. You okay?
It's okay. Just breathe. Breathe.
Nothing happened. Misfortune, a place where he fell. I'm fine. Can't talk to me. You wanna?
No, it's great. It's okay. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. It's not around. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. No, I will touch you again, okay?
What is his name? Is it Robert?
Yeah.
What kind of truck is it got?
Flight 4. 150.
It's silver?
King Ranch. I'm sorry, it's a King Ranch.
Okay, okay.
Oh, King Ranch.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, King Ranch. Yeah, that's great.
Okay, I'll hold on a second. So,
Your Honor, for the record, that was, the video entitled Robert Young, parentheses 7. I'll mark that as states.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
The record's reflecting that you are muting conversations of law enforcement officers.
Well, actually, no, Judge. The first 30 seconds of their body cam footage is automatically muted.
I'm aware of that.
on call computers. Yeah, I mean, he's like, so the brother was like, look, he found a very problem at the door, because there was no door, trying to push it, there's no problem.
And Deputy Burman, this is, again, not your body cam, but we can see you now on the scene.
Correct.
Okay.
What did you tell you, Mike?
Mine stayed a little more.
I'm gonna head down there.
Well, don't go to the house, but yeah, go to the special client.
Okay.
All right. Did you get all everyone's info? All right, we good. So, just so I can call Miss Harvey.
Yep.
Your sister-in-law and your brother. Bob is your brother.
Bob and Tina.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so he opened the door, I opened the door because he pulled up, I was gonna meet him outside the house. And the door opened, and then when the door opened, I was trying to close this one, he came, and I just lowered and charged. And he went through glass, landed right over there.
Fair. Good job.
Yeah, not one of my house, but it's all very important.
You're welcome. I know, you got class, sir. Let me call my sergeant and see if he wants, So you were not allowed in the properties? Okay, all right, let me call him. I'll be right back. Hey, sir, you got your other, everybody's.
I don't, I can wait.
Yeah, you can grab it. Are you Tina?
And I'm gonna stop this, Your Honor, at 2 minutes and 37 seconds.
Yeah, from what you just said.
And Your Honor, this is video 10.
Yeah.
Mike, no, sorry.
So is this your blood, Mike?
That's actually my brother's.
That's actually your brother's?
Mine stayed on my arm. I'm gonna head down there.
Well, don't go to the house, but yeah, go sit close. Okay. All right. Did you get all everyone's info? All right, we'll get it. So, just so I can call my sergeant.
Yep.
Your sister-in-law and your brother. Bob is your brother.
Bob and Tina.
Right. Okay. They got into a physical altercation last night, right? She came here.
Yeah.
He found out. He tried to force his way in.
Correct.
You got in his way, so he assaulted you.
So he opened the door. I opened the door because he pulled up. I was going to meet him outside the house, and the door opened. And then when the door opened, I was trying to close this one. He came, and I just lowered and charged. And he went through glass, landed right over there.
Fair. Good job.
Yeah, nothing in my house.
No.
We can talk right here on the porch. You're welcome.
Yeah, I know, but you got class over. Let me call the sergeant and see if he wants. So you were not going to allow him in the properties. Okay. All right. Let me call him. I'll be right back. Please start getting everybody's information. All right. So what I got is husband and wife. Husband did a domestic last night. Wife came over to her brother-in-law's house, who's the husband's brother, to kind of hide out. Husband tried to force his way into this house. There's broke a screen door. There's a little bit of blood thrown around. So we got a domestic on the wife, a domestic on the brother, maybe a burglary. Because he went through the glass screen door, so I'm going to go with yes. But, hey, Mr. Young, did your brother actually cross the threshold? Did he get in?
He did not, probably about right here.
Okay, so he did not get into the house.
No.
Okay, how did he go through the glass door?
I can show you the video, but it's all right here.
You got a video of it?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, so he didn't actually make it through the door, but I got 2 domestics. And some criminal damaging. So we're going to get the information here. I'm going to try to go grab this guy. Ruggles transport him, and then we'll come back and fill out witness statements and all that. Yeah, Ruggles, me and Skamer. Yeah. This guy. All right, you're the man. All right, bye. So do you think he went back home?
I think he intentionally was going to be left, to be honest.
Because he lives right over here.
That's his son, Bob. So there's a lot of Bob, you know, he's
Okay.
his son Bob.
And her son.
And the dog.
So that's his her son, or is that stepson?
Okay. Tina,
Yeah,
Tina and Bob.
yeah,
Bob's my brother.
yeah,
Bob has a son, Bobby.
okay.
What's her name? Abby, Katie, and then Joe. Did you see your dad? He didn't come home?
Dad's not at home.
He didn't pass me either.
Oh, shit. If we could kind of keep people in a central location so I can take photos and stuff.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Here, let me come.
Okay. He's in the barn with the other kids. Okay. He's out. So, what's good for why did he take your phone last night?
Because we were fighting about something and he took my phone and he started hitting, stopping.
Alright. And so you obviously saw it.
Yeah, I seen it out the window and then I ran out there and got my car.
Okay. And this is mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's.
Brother. Okay.
That's
Right. Were you trying to call 911 when you took the phone?
yeah, I was going to.
And so he took the phone? Okay. Has he ever been convicted of or arrested for domestic violence? Alright. We have been? Okay. I'm gonna get a witness statement. I'm gonna get some paperwork for you to fill out, okay? Hey, Rose. It is?
Okay, so Deputy Burman, at this point, we shifted our investigation from the morning's incidents to the night before incident.
Correct.
Okay. And you're having everyone write out witness statements.
Yes.
A decision at this point has been made that you are going to charge Robert Young with the incident that happened with Michael Young on the front porch.
Correct.
And again, why is the reason for that? I know it's hard for you to watch the video, it's also hard for me to ask my questions.
Oh, sorry.
Directly. Thank you. Just looking around you to see him.
Because from all accounts of it, and then eventually the video, it is apparent that it fits a statute to attempt to cause or attempt to cause physical harm.
Okay. And did Michael have some scratches on his arm as well?
He did. There were some scratches from what I believe is glass.
So at this point now, you're gonna start interviewing Tina and Abigail about what happened the night before.
Correct. All right. Then, no, we'll come over if you want to have. We'll come over, and then we'll come back here. All right, you'll just have to transport. Can you get Mom's birthday so we can get a picture of him? What's Bob's birthday? 5481. And is his first name Robert? Robert Young, 5481. All right, we're gonna be right back. Okay. All right. No, we're gonna be right back because his truck's over at the house. Please do not call. Okay.
You go to the house, is he there?
I do not. It ends up that Deputy Ruggles was not the correct truck, so he was not at the house.
Okay, so you don't actually, at this point, you
I
leave.
do not leave.
Okay.
I
Oh, go ahead.
go to my car and I get the witness statements and stuff out of the back.
And then you head back in. Okay.
Hey, I got a question for you. So, Do you want one of us, do you want somebody to stay at this house? Well, because I guess Ruggles said that the truck is at. Oh, I'm sorry, let me call Peter for that. Hey, Ruggles is sitting on the house over there. He says that his truck is in the driveway. Do you want us to stay here and have somebody go with Ruggles, or do you want us to leave this place and go over to Ruggles? 2007 Coons. Okay, and then we'll get all the witness statements and everything handled. No problem. Thanks, man. Alright, we're gonna hang out here. Let me call Ruggles. Alright, Peters is gonna come to you. So if you get him, just take him to jail. For domestic, I believe I got disrupting public services, 2 domestics, and a criminal damaging. So, I appreciate it. Alright, so the cell phone being thrown in the pool is important because, you know, why did he throw it in the pool? What was going on? She told me she was going to call 911, and then told me he threw it in the pool. That's disrupting public services. That's a felony of the 4th degree. You have the suspect's name and info? Okay. Robert Young. Robert Young, let's go ahead and run through services on the suspect by name, DOB, give him the name, comments on Robert Young, date of birth, status, you know. Greensburg. We got other units. There's this truck is there, so we got 3 cars going over there. All right. I'm gonna have you fill out a statement also, okay? And I got some for you too. All right, sorry. No, it's fine. All right, so ma'am, there's a few things that the law says I have to give to you. All right, so here's some victims assistance information. And also here's some phone numbers and contact information for other services that are available in Summer County. This first form I had is all, now he didn't strangle you all, right? He didn't put his hands around you. Well, if you don't fill it out, it's the same result. Okay. I've been with the sheriff's office for over 2 years, but I've been a police officer for more than 5. got people over at your house. They're gonna go make contact with him. He's gonna go to jail today. He's gonna go to jail for domestic violence against you, for domestic violence against his brother. He's gonna go to jail for disrupting public services, which is because you were gonna call 911. He threw your phone in the pool. And he's gonna go to jail for criminal damage. That is gonna happen. If you don't want to fill out the witness statement, we all have it on body camera. Alright? I would prefer, for you and the sake of your children, and for your safety, that you fill it out. The end result's going to be the same. Berkman, just in passing. Okay.
He answered the phone.
Oh, yeah.
For $2.
Okay. So, and I know, so I've taken a lot of classes about domestic, and it always escalates, it always gets worse. I know it's not the first. It's normally the 100th by the time it gets reported. So,
I'm going to object to that.
if you fill out the statement for me.
To what?
Your response?
What's exactly his objection to?
He says something to the effect of, I know that normally this isn't the first time, it's probably the 100th time that it happened. That's unbelievably inflammatory and untrue, and totally speculative.
I don't think he's referring to this particular incident, he's just referring to, typically there's numerous incidents before the police get involved with domestic violence in his experience.
No, and I understand that, but I think that the objection is well taken. I'm not going to consider what the deputy is communicating to the alleged victim or in terms of his experience. This is part of the investigative process, but I can sort through that and eliminate that which I believe is not admissible.
Thank you.
Okay.
Please. And then we're going to fill out a temporary protection order also that will bar him from coming in contact with you. Okay? It's for your benefit and for your children's benefit. Okay? Nobody should have to live like you've been living.
So the nature of taking us are taking us professional yourself.
Well, he's going to go to jail. One of the charges, well, I don't know. So one of the charges is a felony. The disrupting public services is a felony. He hasn't been convicted of domestic in the past? No? Okay. So those would be misdemeanors. But with the temporary protection order, if he steps foot on the property, he calls you, he says, hey, he adds one of his buddies, say, hey, get a message to my wife.
What if he's harassing his kids?
Well, that's something you could ask the judge to add you on to the temporary protection order. But
It's
if
like
you,
all of us, he's like called us like over 20 times today, voice messages, like text, everything.
As a dad, I think part of this moment not going to be that your dad was mad and it was but I didn't know my daughter was.
so, go ahead and fill this out for me, okay?
Yes. Happy with? I'm going to get on 6 year old.
Alright. So, since you're his brother, well, you're related to this is domestic also. So, by law, I'm required to give you victims assistance information. David, do you ever have a driver's license?
Yeah, I don't know my keys.
And then here's more of this. You can do it by date of birth. You don't have to.
I need to find it. This is probably feels.
Yeah, we'll let you know. Alright. So, what I need to do initially is fill out the witness statement. Pretty much what happened, how it happened. Alright. It's okay that you guys can fill it out.
Fine. I have to put that.
Good.
He wasn't going in the house.
Alright. So go ahead and fill that out. Then we'll move on to the next thing. When she gets back, we're going to have her because.
Where do I start this? Like this morning?
Yeah, just start with this morning. Just for you, it's what led up to the event.
Yeah.
Okay. John, did you witness anything yesterday? Okay, then. It's okay. All right. Yeah, here, give it to my partner here. And then what I'm gonna have you do, this is just a witness statement. You probably wanna set the table right now on clipboards. Just write down what you observed last night, okay? I'm gonna go outside and take some photos.
Connor, I'm just gonna skip through the part where he's on.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is there any way this can be expedited in terms of relevant evidence?
Yeah. Yes, Dad. Everybody, hold those hands for me.
Dad, you had your chance to say it.
I'd like to talk to your mother.
Why? What are you talking about?
She's my wife.
Dad, you just scared the shit out of your whole family. Running through that glass door, Dad.
I hear a lot of here from you guys. I didn't realize we were down the street. I'd like to see you in another place.
Okay. Alright. Leave him. No. The sheriff says that you're not allowed.
Where's he?
Just speak to your mother.
Mr. Young, where you at?
Magnolia.
That's not true.
Why would you say that?
Because you left here not too long ago. Magnolia's pretty far.
31 miles.
Yep. Where you at, Mr. Young?
Magnolia.
Okay. All right. We'll be seeing you.
Hey, Bobby.
Yes,
I'd
Dad.
like to talk to your mother, please.
That's not gonna happen right
You
now.
can't let it.
Why?
I don't know what you're gonna say. You've already done enough hateful things to this place.
All I want to do is talk to your mother.
All right. We'll take it off speakerphone.
Okay, so Deputy Burman, when you're there taking witness statements, did Robert Young call Bobby?
Yeah.
And we just heard a portion of that telephone conversation.
Correct.
And you knew that the police were there
Yes.
investigating
I presume yes.
and still demanding to speak to Tina.
Yes.
In fact, you can hear him on the video saying your mother can't fill out a police report saying I hit her
Correct.
on speakerphone.
Okay. We're gonna send somebody. Go ahead and finish filling that out for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe you.
So,
I didn't want to.
where did you hit Chad?
But the things that you're doing.
He was just like, because he was saying really nasty things to my friend, and I went like this, and he hit me on the side of the face.
Your left side?
This is, snapping her on the side of the face, and she was like trying to get me back to like defend herself. No, I
Is that on this one?
Yes, this is the he sent her that. He sent me this screenshot before, and he said, this is your mother's Facebook, and she was just defending herself.
I got witness statements, I'm not worried about it. Okay. I'm gonna send you a link to show, to bring that, to send that photo to me, this video.
This is serious. This is a serious matter.
Alright, so you smacked you on the left side of the face. What else? Anything else?
Showed me in the face.
Just go ahead and write it down for me, right, what you remember, okay?
You're okay. If you know the truth, you're safe. You're not gonna argue my license. You're fine. You know the truth. First after he came inside with me, he was like, Mom's getting hit. I need to come outside. They came over there like right before 2. We were there all over our house.
Is there any way to change the password of those cameras so that he can?
That does access.
Okay, well, I got written statements, that's all I need, so that's all I need. Nothing more than enough. Does he have another car besides the pickup? So the Prius?
He also has a first car that's there. I don't know.
What kind of car do you drive?
He is, I don't know.
Just hang up the phone.
All right, Dad, I gotta go. Dad,
What kind of car do you drive? Yukon? Okay, what color is that? 015, please.
Okay, I'll stop at 2441. So you got witness statements from Abby and spoke with Abby about what she witnessed.
Correct.
And what did she indicate to you at that?
She indicated that her younger brother woke her up in the middle of the night. They went downstairs and she observed Robert Young strike Tina in the face.
And what did Tina indicate had happened?
Tina indicated that they were arguing. At the moment, it was kind of undisclosed what the argument was about, but they were arguing with one of her friends was involved, and Tina said that she had placed her hands up in front of Robert's face, and to kind of get him, she said to get him to stop, at which point she said struck her in the face.
And then through a phone.
Correct.
Based upon your investigation up to this point, do you have any reason to believe that what Abby is telling you is fabricated? In your experience as a law enforcement officer, do people often tell you fabricated stories?
Objection.
Yes, it's true.
I'll withdraw.
People are not always forthcoming with police.
And do you have ways to sort of tell, based upon your training and experience and history as a law enforcement officer, when someone is or isn't being truthful with you?
Objection to that.
I'm just stating.
Okay.
You don't have to answer.
Yes, sir.
Were Tina and Abby's stories consistent?
Yes.
Is what we watched here on your body cam a fair and accurate representation of your body cam that day up until the 24:41 second mark?
Yes.
Here. The rest of this is you taking statements and.
I believe so. I haven't watched the rest of this.
Okay. You never spoke with Joey, the 7-year-old?
No.
Okay. Why not?
Well, he was not inside of Michael's residence at the moment. Also, I believe they told me he was 6 years old. I don't really necessarily believe he would have provided me a bunch of information. And so, he's also a little boy. I don't want to subject a little boy in question about a fight between his mom and his father.
Okay. And you had someone else who says they witnessed it?
Yeah.
I have no further questions.
Thank you. Cross-examination, Mr. Gretton.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Deputy.
Afternoon, sir.
My name is John Grevin. I'm sure you know I'm going to ask you some questions. I don't think we've ever met, have we?
No, yes, sir.
Okay. You've never given me a ticket on 77, correct?
No.
All right, let's keep that streak going. Because there's kind of two separate incidents, I may jump around a little bit.
Of course.
So if at any point in time you're confused about my question, I want you to let me know, okay? All right. So, you're on duty. What shift do you know? At this time, what shift you working? Is it 8 to 8 or what?
No, we work 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay, so 7 to 7. And this call comes in around between 10 and 11 o'clock, I think?
I think the approximate time is 9:40 in the morning, I believe.
Okay, fair enough, 9:40. So you go out there, and the first person that you have contact with is my client's brother, correct?
Correct.
And that's the one that, the homeowner that you meet at the front door, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And the brother is the first one that starts talking to you about the domestic violence from earlier that morning around 1 o'clock, correct?
Aside from the officer that arrived prior to my, prior to me.
But again, the officer that arrived
Yeah.
prior also got that from Michael.
Correct.
No one has spoken to Tina, or no one has spoken to the daughter, Abby,
Correct.
initially, correct?
Correct.
All right. So, let's talk about the assault with the incident with the brother, okay? You go on scene, you talk to the brother, and the brother tells you about what happened, and you see the broken glass, correct?
Yes.
And you see blood on the ground, correct?
Yes.
So you're clearly aware that something happened, right?
Correct.
All right. So, this incident happened on July 7th, which was a Friday.
Yes.
Warrants were issued on July 7th, I want to say probably by 3 o'clock, maybe even 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Does that sound right?
If that's what the timestamp is.
Okay. But they were done on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you did not get the actual ring camera videos, though, until the following day, correct?
I'm not sure when I got the actual photos.
Okay. So if you did get the ring camera videos on the following day, that would mean the decision to charge my client with the assault on his brother was made based on what the brother had to say. Is that fair?
Correct.
Okay. So, the prosecutor asked you about why you made the decision to charge Robert and not his brother. And your answer was that Robert was the aggressor, correct? Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then, just so we're clear, and we've watched this numerous times already today, but you would agree with me that the front steps that go up to Michael's house are kind of long steps.
Correct.
And if you watch the video, and again, we watched it a bunch of times, But if you watch the ring camera video, it appears when Robert, you can disagree with me if you want, but it appears that Robert, as he's walking up the steps, is not looking at the door, but he's looking at the steps because they're in a regular shape. Is that fair?
We'd have to watch it. We'd have to watch it.
Go ahead and play it. The ring video. Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna have her stop it when he pulls up in front. Stop, thank you. I mean, there doesn't appear to be anything erratic about his driving, correct?
Well, if you look, as he was entering the driveway, it appeared that he slightly overshot the driveway, which showed me that he was making the turn slightly fast. There seems to be also a little bit of dust clouds. I believe that, reasonable person would believe that's a little bit more aggressive way of driving the driveway.
It's a gravel driveway.
It is a gravel driveway, yes.
And dust gets kicked up when tires are on it, right?
I mean, yes, sometimes more than other times.
Okay. And he doesn't slam on his brakes and come to an erratic stop. He just puts on his brakes and puts his car in park and gets out of the car, correct?
You can see the rocking of the vehicle. For a reasonable person, I would believe that's a little bit more aggressive than a typical day of him just showing up at his brother's house.
What do you mean the rocking of the vehicle? When you put
Well,
your...
if you want
Go ahead.
to rewind it just a little bit.
Sure.
So he stopped, and then you can kind of see it settles back and then it comes back again.
Not go in my house. I did not give you permission to go in. Your arm is cut. Yeah, you are not coming in my house.
So as he walks up these irregular steps, again, I mean, the judge will have this, he'll be able to look at, but does it appear to you that he's looking down at the steps?
Well, I can't tell exactly where his eyes are, but I can see his head is slightly pointed down a little bit lower.
Okay. You had said in your direct testimony that he's hurriedly walking up the step, or I can't remember the phrase you used, but he seems to be, I can't remember the word you said.
I can't remember exactly. It does look like he's on a mission to get into the house.
Well, wait a second. He's on a mission to get into the house? He's walking up the steps. You would agree with me, he's walking up the steps, correct?
Yes, he's walking up the steps.
Okay. He's not running up the steps. You just testified that it appeared that his head was down and maybe he was looking down. Explain, I'll give you a chance. Explain when you say, what is he aggressively coming up the steps about?
Well, if you replay it again, it appears that as he approaches the door, he does accelerate a little bit his body weight.
So that's the aggressiveness you're talking about, coming up the steps?
As Michael comes out, it appears that Robert accelerates.
Okay. You also said on direct that it appears that Robert's right arm is raised. You would agree with me that you can't see, and I think we even testified to it on direct, you can't really see Mike's arms, at least the left arm, correct?
Correct.
All right. So, you also saw the video from the first officer on scene that the prosecutor played for you, correct?
Yeah.
So in trying to decide who is the aggressor, well wait, before we get to that, you said that he was aggressively trying to get in the house, right? That's what it appeared like to you.
And that's what I was told.
How,
Statement, etc., yes.
well, how do you know he wasn't walking up the steps to ring the doorbell?
All I have is the witness statements.
So what you have is Mike telling you that he was afraid he was gonna come in the house. But you have no way of knowing if he was coming in there to bust down that door or coming in there to ring on the doorbell and say, hey, can I talk to my wife, right?
Correct.
All right. So in the video the prosecutor played through from the first officer on scene, when he talks to Mike, Mike says, and I'm going to quote him directly, and this is Mike talking. He said, and he came, and then he said, I just lowered and charged. That's what Mike said.
Right.
You heard that, correct?
Yeah.
So if you're trying to decide who the aggressor is, the only person, I mean, Mike admits that he's the one that lowered his shoulder and charged. You agree with that? He said it, right?
He did say it.
Okay. Now, he may be able to think that he was defending some phantom attack or anything like that, but at least according to Mike's own statement, on scene, he admits to lowering his shoulder and charging into Robert Young, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. So, you then go inside and now you start